11 o'clock. So, welcome to the Monday, May 6th Development Review Board meeting for the city of Montpelier. Meredith will go over remote attendee procedures.
Okay, so I am going to share my screen. Catherine, do you think you could go up to the laptop up there and just minimize the Zoom screen so it doesn't hide this? Thank you. Just a little, nope, on the top of where the people are there. On that bar, go on the left and that one. Yeah, awesome. Perfect. Okay. So for anyone viewing tonight's meeting via the ORCA Media live stream, you can participate in tonight's Development Review Board meeting via the Zoom platform through either video or telephone access options. If you want to have the full video experience, then please type this link into your web browser and I will get a notification that you want to join the Zoom meeting. Alternatively, you can dial in on your phone, any phone, using this phone number. And then when prompted, put in this meeting ID. And again, I'll get a little prompt that you want to be let into the meeting. If anyone is having problems accessing the meeting using these options, please email me at mcrandall@montpelier-vt.org. I will be monitoring my email as best I can throughout the meeting. For everyone attending via Zoom, turning your video on is optional. For everyone who is attending, if you wish to speak, please raise your hand. You can do that using, if you have your video on, then raise your physical hand and we'll see you. And or you can use the raise hand button on your toolbar. If someone calls in over the phone, you can use *9, and that'll put a little raise hand on your screen for us to see. Once you've raised your hand to ask questions during the appropriate times, we don't necessarily ask questions when we're approving the agenda. The chair will call on you and recognize you, and then I'll ask you to unmute yourself using the Zoom, and then you'll be able to talk. Especially if you're a member of the public, please make sure to state your full name and address for the record the first time you talk. That way we know who has actually commented on an application or some other meeting item on the agenda. And note that once you're done with your comments, you'll get remuted. And if you have other things you want to say, you're going to need to raise your hand and get recognized by the chair again. Please remember that the Zoom chat function should only be used for troubleshooting or logistics questions. So say your raise hand, you can't find your raise hand button or something along those lines. If you have a question or comment about an item on the agenda, you do need to raise your hand. We need to take testimony, orally. We can't take testimony through the chat function. Okay, so in the event the public is unable to access this meeting, then I would find that out through my email. The meeting will need to be continued to a time and place certain. I'll now hand the meeting back over to the chair.
Thank you. The first item here is approval of the agenda. Everybody had an opportunity to look at it.
I move we approve the agenda. Okay.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, we got through that. So just a comment to sort of start this meeting off. It's really important to this whole process that we have a kind of decorous, smooth way of hearing the public and board members and everybody who's concerned, and that we don't talk over each other. That's why the procedures are set up the way they are, so that somebody needs to be recognized before they speak, so that we don't have a lot of crosstalk. It also gets very confusing if multiple people are talking at once. So I think that we just need to maybe focus a little bit more attention on having that go smoothly this evening. And I'm really glad the applicant is back, and I think unless anybody else has something they want to add to that, I would say that we are ready to get rolling. Because this is a continuation, do I need to swear her in?
You don't need to swear in people who were already sworn in.
Okay.
But
That's-
we have some new people on remotely. We have an Ally Tarwater, a Sierra Norford, and a Molly Clark who weren't in attendance at the last meeting. So if they have any intention of
Speaking.
speaking in any way, shape, or form, or think that they might, then they should be sworn in.
Okay. Could I hear from any of those folks, please? Molly Clark, Sierra Norford, Ally Tarwater.
Yeah, so I'll do little asks to unmute. You can unmute yourself and speak up if you want, or you can, if you know you want to talk, you can just sort of give a thumbs up. We might ask you to turn your video on for the swearing in, if you're going to be sworn in. Thumbs up from Molly.
Okay.
Okay, she might talk.
Okay. Great. Well,
Thumbs up from Sierra.
okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Allie, I don't know if you want to talk or not. You're unmuted, so at least you should be. All right. Okay, at least two of them want to be sworn in.
Okay. So everybody who is interested, this is the opportunity now to turn on your video, to raise your right hand. And do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you so much. I think that there have been a few changes to the application, and I think, Kiana, it would be great if you could just talk through what has changed.
Absolutely. So you only need the additions. You don't need me to review what I went over last time I was in the meeting.
I don't think so. I think that
Okay.
we're up to speed on that. Thank you.
Great. I was just going to read the same spiel again. So if you don't want to hear it, I'm good. Okay.
It was a really good spiel. I remember.
Thank you. I had to type it out. So, all right. So I do have in the application, there are two major additions, one being a signed document by the HOA that Katie Gustafson from the Vermont College of Fine Arts orchestrated with the current homeowners association of the parking lots that are associated with this property that will come as membership of joining the HOA when we do buy the property, that they essentially signed off on this project or this permit as well, which was an important piece. And then there's one other document that just says addition to conditional use permit for Gary Library. And there's kind of three components of that, or actually two in addition to the signed letter from the HOA. The first one is that we have worked with some concerned neighbors and have come up with a kind of a lovely compromise of that all patron-based events and activities provided herein within the Gary Library shall end no later than 11 p.m. except, and we've got a couple exceptions, except for 4 Saturday nights a year when the end time may be 12, midnight, and then New Year's Eve when that end time may be 1 a.m. So we've essentially agreed upon a pretty consistent stopping point for patron events, meaning the events will end by 11 p.m. That was the first kind of condition that we're adding in here for this piece. And then the second one doesn't necessarily, the second one is really just a list of ways in which the HOA and the hub will address parking lot behavior from our patrons and kind of have a proactive approach to making sure that we are putting our community first and our neighbors first and training our audiences to recognize our position in the community and recognize how important it is that we are good neighbors and that they're a part of that process. So some of the things that we are working into our plans is one that we're going to, as the HOA and as the hub specifically, we're going to post signage in our parking lot areas that essentially state the quiet hours that align to the noise ordinance so that it's very clear what those hours are, and also just reminding people that we are in a neighborhood and just have that very visual cue in our parking lots to remind them, in addition to verbiage within our printed programs and at the beginning of events where we remind our audiences that we are a member of the community and we live amongst houses. And so therefore, as they exit and enter to their cars, to just be really respectful of that and to remember that we have a noise ordinance here in Montpelier and what that is. So those kind of two components are really just a proactive approach to us being a part of the community and just recognizing that we do have neighbors to those parking lots that we share. And hopefully that will go a long way and train everyone to, I think it'll be great. And then the last piece is just the signed letter. So those three components are pieces that we worked on to include to make sure that we address some of the concerns from our neighbors. And I think those should cover it.
Great. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Meredith, did you had your hand up there?
No. No.
No.
No. I don't know. That's not, I don't think I have a hand up.
Okay, it looks like it up there. If you look on the screen.
No.
This is just the mouse.
I think
Okay.
it's just the mouse.
All right,
Yeah.
it's like
if
Meredith
I have-
really got to
no,
get
no,
in
I
here.
think it's now, if I have the hand on there, it'll be a yellow.
Okay.
Sorry, it was my mouse.
I was like, what is that hand?
No, sorry.
Okay. So to one of the things that I wanted to have us all look at is just how far we got in the staff report last time. I feel like we got most of the way through it. That most issues had been addressed. And do other people feel like we didn't touch on the basis of some things? Or, I mean, I know that we got through the traffic study. We decided that they didn't need a traffic study. You know, that basically anything else that they do outdoors is going to go through another permitting process, so that we don't need to worry about, you know, if they add lights to the outside patio, that's also either be permitted or come in front of us for a variance. So things that they're talking about changing on the outside would come before us again if they're not directly permitted. So it's not like we don't have another chance to look at those things. And the other thing I think that is good that you included, Deanna, is the Montpelier reference to the Montpelier noise ordinances, because that's really one of the best tools for neighbors to address issues. I mean, that's really what it's set up to do. So obviously working out things proactively is the best possible scenario, but there are ordinances to deal with noise. So that is also a tool that people have in their toolbox. Meredith, did you have any other, did you feel like we left something out? I feel like
No.
we did a pretty thorough examination last time.
Yeah, I think, unless there were questions or comments from the public or other board members, if everybody's happy with what Kiana has added in, I think that,
We can
once the new members of the public have had their chance to say anything, the biggest thing is just to finalize what the potential conditions will be, because we discussed some things last time and then we have these new things. So the
Right.
board hashing out which things are actually
One question,
specific conditions of approval will need to be
and
determined.
the technical question that I had is that by adding these to her application, we don't need to include them as conditions.
You can, or you don't have to. It's whether and how strongly the board feels they need to be specific conditions of the board's approval versus these are just things that the applicant has attested they're going to do. So if they fail to do them, it's a violation of the permit.
Okay.
Right. So some things like, so if somebody says that their wall is only going to be 4.5 feet high, but they actually build it 5 feet high, that's a breach of the material fact. So it's a violation. So I can enforce on that.
Okay.
These are the same kind.
Yeah, I mean, these are officially added to the
Yes, these are
application. So
officially
they're
added to the
included.
application.
That's what I wanted
As
to know.
representations of what will happen.
Okay. Board members, questions?
Good question, whether they're Adam's conditions or just we have them in the application. I kind of see these as really great things that make a application that absolutely goes above and beyond what is required for this type of conditional use when you compare from like what's currently there to like what is being proposed. And so I'm inclined to just view them as components of a really great application rather than any findings that the board has made that these are absolute requirements based on our interpretations of Montpelier regs.
I'm also in agreement with that, I think. Are there other comments from the board members before I open it up to the public? Okay. Is there anybody who'd like to say anything, who is on the Zoom end of things?
If somebody in Zoom wants to say something, raise your hand either by turning on your video and doing it physically or using your little raise hand button under your reactions on your toolbar. Oh, yep,
Jean?
Jean has something to say. Oops, board member, sorry. Yep.
Hi, Jean.
Hi, guys. No, I just couldn't agree more with Rob's statement there. Thanks for putting that out there. I totally agree, and I think the board and the previous meeting and everyone's and where we are at now seems like it's all in a positive place to move forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Jean.
Thanks, Jean. So Molly or Sierra or Allie, if any of you want to say anything, you'll need to raise your hand so that then I'll know who to ask to unmute.
Okay.
I see no hands. Oh, wait, Allie does. So sorry, hold on. There you go. Sorry, Allie. So we didn't see you with the swearing in. Do we want to just swear you in to make sure?
Sure. Yeah,
Oh, no,
sorry.
it's
And
not
my
long.
audio wasn't working and I refreshed the page right as you were doing it. So yes.
Okay. So yeah, so we need
Okay.
to swear Allie in.
Will you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under the penalties of perjury?
I swear.
Great. Thank you. You wanted to
Cool.
make a comment?
Sure. So I am a Montpelier resident. I live at 176 Main Street, corner north of Main. I am also a music teacher in the community. And I just wanted to say that I am super excited about this project. I think it's going to give our community members, I'm a performing musician as well, give us lots of like a great new place to perform that is like specific to performance as opposed to a bar or something like that, where we can have a more like I don't want to say legit, but a more almost like a more legitimate performance space, and giving our students the opportunity to perform in a excuse me, in a place that so sorry, in a place that's not our school theater. I can't take my students out to a bar to perform, but I would love to take them to a great new theater in town to play. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So just looking through what we had added for the previous meeting for possible conditions.
I think there was the one about having a updated site plan with the garbage disposal area. I think that was the only one as a possible like pre-permit condition that I remember after going through my notes.
There were two numbers for either square footage or number of seats on the deck
Oh,
that needed to be
yeah.
Reconciled.
Yep, I think, and that may have been because she wasn't using it for the evening when there were events. It was just going to be a daytime use space. I think for my concerns, like I can just say that the deck, when we get to permitting that, is an outdoor area for the cafe, and it's not for the performance aspects of the
But isn't
business.
with the deck?
That's more for like the performances, right? And the chairs would be scooted over but for when the classes are happening, a lot of that entrance might be below, but then like the parents might be like, oh, I can actually like sit and chill is the way I viewed it. I don't know if Kiana had, that was my memory. So I don't feel so much like that's as much of a concern about how much space can be used for that outside service area. But I don't know if Kiana has something to add.
I guess the other thing that we did talk.
Hold on. Yeah, Sharon's talking. Hold on, Kiana.
The other thing that we did talk about is that that when that new additional outdoor space is built, it's also going to have another permitting process, right? For lights and anything else that might go onto that.
Right.
And that the intent of that patio was to have a place where people could kind of build up to go to line up to go into a performance, but that's the only use that it would be at night. And that the rest of the time it was thing. So it's just a matter, you were saying that the 720 feet.
There was just some confusion about
Okay.
square feet, and I couldn't quite remember the conversation about use. I'm fine with not saying anything about use.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the use patterns will define the use.
Yeah.
And there's really no reason for us to anticipate or speculate or police.
Okay.
No, and I think that is something I raised in the staff report about, does the board feel like they have to specify how much of that is used for the conditional use? And it sounded like by the end of the conversation that that's where things had worked out in my mind.
Okay.
Um,
Kenna, did you want to comment? Or are you?
I'm not sure what I'm commenting, like.
Okay, I don't
exactly
think you have to. I
for
think
me,
it's all-
but, in terms of numbers, exactly what number we're talking about, but if you need me to, I can talk about it, but if you're all good, I'm good too.
I think we're good.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with it. I think we're good.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I could see, I guess, the additional, the original condition that was on there being included as part of the motion, that they'll include a new site plan with, the site of the disposal on there. I don't really see, I don't really feel like we need to add anything else to that. My opinion. I'm certainly welcome to other opinions. Okay. Somebody got a motion?
Well, I had one question. It may be
Yeah.
just if we're reflecting back on everything from
Yeah.
last time. Last time we were so focused on the car activity in the parking lot. We never talked about any other types of transportation. I was just curious if there's any clarification around, I don't think I saw anything about whether there's existing bike racks or whether that might be more of a condo association question.
Yeah, so for the site as a whole, I have been in talks with various people involved in the condo association, and I think there has been, my sense is that there has been a let's wait to figure out how things might flow better and how we might provide better facilities in places like for bike racks or other things until we figured out who all is going to be here.
Yeah.
I know, at one end you've got a younger, group of kids, you have some space that's, more of the like engineering school, you have, a PT clinic. And so, I've been in talks with them about doing some coordinated signage for the parcel as a whole versus just the stuff on the buildings. And I think that they're going to be rethinking sort of how everything flows, once they've finalized who all is going to be there so everybody can have a seat at the table. I don't know, we have a representative of the condo association in the audience if somebody has additional information, but that's my understanding. Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good. I was just gonna say, we do have on our concept design, there's a part of the concept design in the narrative, the back patio that enters that goes into the educational suite to the rear parking lot. As a part of that, like entrance patio is like an overhang and a bike rack of our own, just for our educational like suite. And so that's a part of our plan. And then I would imagine that the whole, just as Meredith said about the whole kind of campus, thinking more strategically, but we definitely have a plan for a specific bike rack for the back side of the building where we're expecting a number of our student body to come in.
Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome.
Ready.
I'm ready.
No conditions though, right?
no,
Yeah,
here,
just-
hold on. That's the condition.
Just that one.
Well, yeah. No, that's the same one I got.
So no new conditions.
No new conditions. Yeah.
We said no conditions.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Sorry.
Nope, that's okay.
So I motion to grant for conditional use and minor site plan approval to add restaurant, restaurant takeout, performance theater and exhibition, convention or conference structure uses at 35 College Street as presented in the application Z 2024-0025 and supporting and supplemental materials. And also adding the following condition, that prior to permit issuance, the applicant shall submit a site plan that includes the location of the new refuse area to the zoning administrator.
I second the motion.
Any further discussion? Okay. Let's do a roll call vote. Oh,
Unmute so he can vote. Okay, Dean, I just unmuted you so we can hear you when we do the vote.
Right on.
okay. Catherine? Rob?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Alex?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
And yes, also for me. That is everyone. That is unanimous.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it will be official when the written decision comes out. That will be top of my plate to pull that together for a draft. And then Sharon will sign it. If I get the updated site plan with the refuse area before the decision is ready, then I will be able to issue the zoning permit at the same time. Here, Kiana, I will let you unmute yourself if you need to. And we'll move on that as quickly as we can.
Great. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Sounds like a great project.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. And I will talk to you soon.
Yes, thanks.
So the next on our agenda is approval of the April 15th meeting minutes. Which I read. I didn't find any problems with it. I also thought that Tammy Fury did a great job on these minutes. Please pass along my compliments. Okay.
Well, she'll hear it. She listens to every recording.
Right. Thank you. So a motion to approve. Love that.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Any other business? I just would say that I went back to my original packet that I got and really read through the guidelines for development review board participation, meeting policies, procedures, all of that, just to kind of get it back into my brain about how it should work, how to keep it running smoothly. And I would just encourage other people to do that too. It was really helpful. It kind of gave me like, okay, this is how it has to go. And that was really helpful to me. So I would encourage other people to do that. Our next meeting is when?
The 20th, Monday, the 20th.
Do we have applications?
Well, what you have is an appeal of one of my refusals to issue a river hazard permit.
Oh,
So
fascinating.
appeals of river hazard administrative decisions come to the DRB. So you won't be looking at zoning regulations. You might want to go and do a little reading through of the river hazard regulations.
Oh, that's right.
Mike Miller will be the one dealing with the staff report for that. So I
Okay.
will staff the other aspects, but I'm basically in a witness quasi defendant role.
Yeah.
Because the permit decision comes to the DRB as a de novo appeal. So you guys look at the application and Mike's overview of it fresh to decide how you would decide the permit.
Right.
And so the application packet is on the pending applications page.
Okay.
Feel free to go take a look at it. Because you guys haven't dealt with the river hazard regulations, it's probably gonna be a little confusing. So
Where
feel
are they?
they're in the same place as it should be this. Well, it's on our page. I will send out maybe a link to those regs.
Yeah.
What it is somebody got in an application to convert some first floor spaces from non-residential to residential.
Did you even be
Right.
talking about this?
I can tell you the overview,
Okay. I was like,
but no, I'm not going to tell you the decision. But the application, right,
right.
was for a conversion to a residential space. And Mike had just issued the public hearing notice for the zoning, for the changes to the river hazard regulations so that you couldn't do that anymore. So it's another one of those funky timing ones.
Right.
But Mike will be doing that, and
Okay.
I will be attending and available if anybody has any questions, but it's really a fresh look at it.
Yeah. So you said that.
But I'll send the link to just the river hazard
Yeah,
regulations.
it would be really good to know what the regulations are if we're looking to see if something that follows
Yeah.
the regulations.
So I will just send everybody the link to
Okay.
those on their own so that people can read through them and see what
Great.
they can garner.
Awesome.
Oh, the link that's on there is to the current regulations. So it's, never mind. I'll send you the right link.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. That's okay.
Get their jokes where
Yep,
they can.
all those archived ones. We actually found somebody who had some. Actually, I have to ask Kevin if he has any old paper copies of regs. See if we can get them from him because he's been on the DRB for so long.
So long. All right. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will give you that motion.
Second.
All right. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. We will see you all on the 20th.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too. See
Thanks,
you in 2
Jean.
weeks.
See you in the next one. It's just easier when